on the mic here, I got Erppo. How's it going?
It's pretty well. It's quite late here, but...
Well, thanks for hopping on. And I know I listened to the episode of SGG Weekly you were on for this to get prepared, so I know you got a ton of in-depth knowledge of the game for sure.
Yeah, I played the game for quite a long time. And, well, now we're playing weird modes. There's 1.0 and the Novice mode, so I haven't really played either of those much, but at least they work pretty much the same as the normal game, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, basically the scoring system about the game is that it's basically just normal chaining like you do in normal Dodonpachi, except there's the multiplayer, which you get while you have a high enough hit counter, and the way to build up the hit counter is mainly by using the hypers. So that's making it work a bit differently.
Yeah, and I know the chaining is a lot more lenient than in the other Dodonpachi games for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit easier. You have a bit more time and such, but when you have the multiplayer active, you will still break it instantly, so it still takes some learning if you really want to do the change.
So, Daring is playing 1.0, and I know there's a lot of weird aspects of this game. It's kind of like the unpatched version of it. Can you go over some of the differences between 1.5 and 1.0?
Yeah, it was the initial arcade release, and it has a counter stop, and it actually has a really easy counter stop. I believe they got it in the arcades in like the first few weeks, so they really had to do something about it. Like the normal game, the 1.5 version, the high scores are, what are the numbers, is 1 trillion or something with the power style, and the counter stop is 1/10 of that. So it's not actually directly comparable because there's some scoring differences in the multipliers and enemy values, so you don't get quite as much score, but it's still quite early. Possible to get it in the first blue.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think he is going for the counter stop, if I'm right. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
We'll see.
And then to the right we have Queen Charlene. She's playing Novice mode of 1.5, I believe. And yeah, she recently, as I understand, recently started getting into shmups. Has a background in fighting games, so it's cool for her to step up and do the demonstration, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a nerve-wracking experience for sure.
Yeah, the Novice mode is good for learning how to do score play in any game, because it's really lenient. You have the chain timer I think it's something like the second loop in the normal game, so you don't really break it, so you can just focus on getting the multiplier up and getting a better score.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played too much of the Novice mode, but I do know Crimson Clover's Novice mode is quite a bit of fun for similar reasons, that you can really just focus in on the scoring aspects of it, since it gives you a little more breathing room for survival.
Yeah, we see the nice trick here, I suppose, in Charlene's screen. You can... those laser balls, the mid-boss fires, you can just hang around near them and use your hyper laser and you get tons of hits.
Yeah, is Daring playing a power style, or what style is he playing there?
That's the bomb style, that's like the default ship.
Okay, so he's on bomb.
Yeah. I don't actually know how the power style works in 1.0, but in 1.5 you can choose between the boost shot and the normal shot, I think it's called.
And it's a lot of fun until, Jamers was mentioning, until you get to Hibachi, where it gets absurd because you don't have bombs.
Yeah, it's really difficult. For sure.
So another interesting difference between the other Dodonpachi games and DFK is that the hyper has its own button in DFK rather than being tied to bomb like in SDOJ and DOJ.
Yeah, that's the most difficult thing about the game, because when I was playing Daifukkatsu and Daifukkatsu at the same time, you always press the wrong button when playing the other game because it's too confusing.
What I started doing is I put my hyper on my regular bomb button, so I would just slap hyper if all else failed, but...
Yeah, that works, at least if you play the bumps, if you basically never have any reason to touch the bump button, so...
Yeah.
Might as well do it.
So we're going into stage 3, it looks like. Daring's already gotten himself in there.
Yeah, we missed kind of important trick there in the beginning when you hang between those two sideways firing lasers and shoot your own, so you can build up lots of hits in there.
Right. So how is his chain looking so far? Is it looking kind of what would be expected?
It's hard for me to say because it's 1.0. I don't think he's focusing on other stages than the 5th, because I hear that the enemy values have gotten lower in the beginning stages and higher in the stage 5, so it even further alters the balance. In both games the multiplayer maxes out when you have 10,000 hits, so normally that's what you're aiming for.
Oh, okay.
And I guess I didn't mention it, but the multiplayer is only active when you're not hypering, so it's kind of a trade-off, because with the hyper you get the hits, and without hyper you get the score, so you have to balance the use.
Do you know if that's any different in Novice mode?
No, the Novice mode should have the same system.
Okay.
In Novice mode you cannot really get as much hits, because big thing about getting the hits is just using your hyper to cancel the bullets, but there aren't that many in Novice mode, so you cannot get all the hits.
Right. It's kind of interesting because there's a shmup I play called Dodonpachi 3, and it has a easy mode in it, and I thought it'd be fun to get like the highest score ever in the easy mode. And it actually turned out to be really challenging to chain because there's no bullets and no enemies, so you had to like really... It's actually harder to chain than the rest of the modes because of that, so...
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing there, especially if you play the power style when you want to get the hyper back by using the boost hyper shot, and there are suddenly no bullets and you do not get the charge.
Right.
So you cannot use the same routes.
So we go up to the third boss here. An important note for people who haven't played DFK before, this is some good advice, is those purple lasers, you can protect yourself from them by lasering yourself. That's some good advice, because for a long time I didn't realize that, and I was just trying to dodge the purple lasers and it got out of hand real fast.
Yeah, you use your laser to block the other lasers.
Mm-hmm.
In the second loop the lasers will start firing bullets, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second loop, because I have not seen that much second loop DFK, to be honest. Here we go with the cancels.
I don't know if Spino is doing it, but in stage 4... Oh yeah. That tower you can hang on top of it with the hyper and you get so much hits.
Right.
At least in 1.5 it's possible to get the hit counter up to 10,000 right there. Because those big wide enemies that are actually the Dodonpachi stage 1 mid-boss, they have huge value in 1.5, but apparently not so much in 1.0.
Right.
So if you get big hit counter in the beginning and then kill those two with the multiplier, you're going to get lots of score in the stage. You can actually get over the 100 million that you need for the counter stop, but I don't think it works in 1.0.
So here we go, that mid-boss. I think that's the fourth boss from Dodonpachi, right there.
Yeah. There's the Euro route and the Omote route in the stages where you either get the new mid-bosses or the old Dodonpachi mid-bosses.
Is this an old pattern then?
It's basically like arranged versions of the Dodonpachi attacks.
Yeah.
But you normally want to play the special mode stages because there's some extra enemies and such, so they're worth more score.
Yeah, isn't there some kind of like stage. It's hard to like branching paths, I guess is the saying, right? Within the stages.
The conditions are kind of complicated, but the main thing is that in stage 1 you can do some weird things in the beginning, and if you do them right, you enter the special route. Then you start getting the Dodonpachi mid-bosses.
Is it just is it stuff that's scoring oriented, or is it just strange requirements that you wouldn't really think about?
Yeah, it's just strange things like the tanks in the beginning. They try to run over the silos, and you need to save the silos or destroy them yourselves and some things like that. But you can also like drop out of the route and get back in with some beatings, and I don't even know the exact conditions because you're just supposed to stay in there. Basically, if you fail something, you might drop the route.
So in DDP, I know that the max bonus is a huge scoring concern. Is the max bonus that important in DFK as far as scoring?
Basically doesn't even exist. Like,
wow.
It is there, but the score is so minimal it doesn't really affect anything.
Right.
You can ignore it.
I'm sure as a DDP player that's like a bit of a relief compared to regular DDP where it's just so strict and brutal because you can't bomb or die or your score disappears basically.
Yeah, you can actually die and bomb quite freely as long as you don't break the chain. It doesn't really affect the score. There's some endgame bonus from the lives, but that's not too big.
So really, it sounds like it all comes down to getting those cancels and the chains, the hypers and the chains.
Yeah,
basically.
the chain is everything there is to the score. All the other things are so minimal, you might as well ignore them.
So how do the bees work in this game? Because I know in DOJ, they play into your hyper in different ways. Is that similar in DFK?
Yeah, you can get hyper charge. That's actually important in routing. Well, maybe less so in white. In black label they're kinda important, but you still have some uses at least in the beginning of stages.
What are the loop conditions, do you know, as far as aura and emote?
In 1.5 it's just about getting the bees, and for Eura you just cannot really die or bomb. I think it's like 1 death plus 2 bombs or something like that.
Oh, I see. Like Ketsu.
I have this text though that Spino gave me, and it just says here that for the Eura loop you actually need to miss no bomb in 1.0. And for Omote it's losing less than 1 life and less than 2 bombs, so it seems a bit more strict.
Yeah, and I believe both players are going for a 2 loop, so that'll be cool
hopefully.
to see. It'll be interesting to see how Novice second loop looks exactly.
Yeah. I think the Novice mode in this works like it just randomly prevents bullets from appearing. It seems like it's different every time.
Yeah.
So Spino is doing this. It's very important in start of stage 5. You have these sideways firing lasers. You can get tons and tons of hits from those if you counter them with their own laser. He's up to 6,000 hits, so it seems like a good start. I think this is going to be basically all the score he's getting in this game.
Right, yeah.
Just like the text file he gave, he says that many of the important enemies before stage 5 have reduced values compared to 1.5.
Oh.
And for some reason those wall cannons have 10 times the value here, so it's even more bigger difference.
So they're in 1.0, the version he's playing, they're not that valuable compared to
in
1.5.
1.0 the stage 5 things are really valuable apparently.
Oh, okay. So the other way around.
Yeah. I've never really seen 1.0 anywhere. It doesn't really exist. There are no console ports, and it doesn't exist in arcades anywhere. It's always replaced by 1.5, so it's really quite unknown game to me.
Yeah,
so
he's
the
having
only way
to
you can see it.
play it on MAME here.
Yeah, but that's the only way basically.
You know, that's interesting that in the Futari port and stuff, they added in all these extra modes, but they never did that with DFK's 1.0. Maybe they're like a little embarrassed about it or something.
Maybe they're ashamed about it.
They're like, that wasn't ever supposed to exist, so let's not include that in the port.
Yeah. It's like the laser is one of the coolest parts in the game.
Yes. How do you feel about that section there with the rotating wall things and the lasers?
Yeah, love it. It's basically the best thing in the game.
I remember when I play it. I'm not as familiar with DFK as the other Dodonpachi games, and I just get wrecked all the time. I kind of have an idea of what to do, but what's your advice for that section in particular?
Well, it's simply routing. There are some parts where if you don't care about fully chaining it with the multiplier, you can time your hyperactivation so that there's some invulnerability, so you can use that to dash through some of the bits.
Right.
That's what you can use to cheese it if you're not... Of course, if you want the high score, you just do the whole thing without hypers, because you don't have the 10,000 hits by that point, so you just want to chain it.
Yeah, and as I understand, for hypers, you wanna... You've mentioned before that the more you use your hyper, the less effective it becomes, is that right?
Yeah, there's the hyper rank. In the first loop it resets between the stages, and now you can actually see those tiny notches which are there in the circle around the ship when you hyper. And when you get to rank 5, you basically with at least the bump and shots, bump and strong styles cannot really cancel bullets anymore, so it gets kinda hard to survive.
Yeah, poor Daring, I think his stream's really struggling.
Yeah, it looks like he's still keeping the chain, so looks good. But yeah, the hyper rank, it's a bit different than like the regular game rank. It just affects the durability of the enemy bullets. Like with the rank 1 you can cancel everything instantly, but at rank 5 it gets really tough.
Yeah. Oh, Charlene got hit. It'd be interesting to see how she handles this section, because like you said, it's really strict routing, and I would imagine even in novice mode, because those satellite things, whatever they are, cannon things, are going to require some routing no matter what mode you're playing.
Yeah, looks like the density is just the same in novice mode.
Alright, so... Is this working? I have no idea. First time.
It's working.
Oh, excellent. First time I've had the microphone work.
Hey Mike, how's it going, dude?
Doing alright? Evidently, with a functioning microphone. This is great.
Nice.
A very non-Linux experience.
The return of the Daifukkatsu and Spino.
Are you hopping on for some commentary, Mike?
Well, more hopping into test out for commentary.
Right.
And here I am, just interrupting, so I'm no fun out. How does that grab you?
No worries, man.
Scores. It's not quite there. It's 940 million.
Charlene's making it through well. Yeah, this section always gives me trouble.
Yeah. This is maybe the last bit, and the bit where you move to the right in the beginning are the hardest in the first loop.
Yes.
Oh, she died. There goes the chain. Spino is ending the first loop, and I have no idea if he's getting the second loop or not, because I don't know the 1.0 conditions actually.
Right, yeah, I don't either. Man's playing a mysterious game. He could just tell us there is no second loop, we'd believe him. So did he get the Oh, let's see. I guess we'll find out here. Because you can kind of tell, right, by the portrait.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's going. He's in the ship.
If you get green background, it's no loop.
Okay, so this is an emote, right? 'Cause
Oh yeah,
it's
yes.
darkened out.
Yeah. For Ura you see the whole face. And for Ura you can only die once, so and use 2 bombs, so I think he didn't get it.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
we're in a mode.
It's interesting the delay between the two of them, because I think they started at similar times.
Yeah, I don't know how the
I think I know why it
actually
is.
Any missing slowdown.
Yes, I was about to say, I
Probably.
think because he's playing it on MAME, I'm sure it's missing a ton of slowdown
Yeah.
compared to the Steam version.
There's not actually that much slowdown in the game, except when you hyper and then the stuns are slowed down all the time.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm actually seeing the 3-way shots from the helicopters. You normally see that only in the Euro loop, but apparently it's here also.
Interesting. I wonder if that's something to do with 1.0.
Yeah, I suppose it is, because clearly it is Omote, because you get these new mid-bosses now.
I'm looking at Charlene's screen. I just realized that looks like the cannon from DOJ. The
Yeah, it
stage
is.
3
It just comes back at the end of the stage.
comes back with wheels.
Yeah, and it's like the big gate, because after that you just get this place with tons and tons of popcorn, and if you kept the whole chain up to this point you get so much score in here. But you need to survive the Diojo cannon.
Oh man. Daring's having a rough time. At least for me. Maybe I'll refresh just in case. If that helps.
Well, that's good again.
There we go.
Hey, stage 2 is actually really hard.
So there's the final boss for the 5th stage there.
Yes.
I wonder if the loop conditions are any different in Novice mode.
Yeah, that I also don't really know. But for the Omote loop in 1.5 you can just die as many times as you want, as long as you get all the bees, or enough of the bees you will loop. So I think she should be fine.
Ooh, got him there.
Yeah, the 3-way popcorn are nasty. And this end part with the lasers and the loop come at you really quickly, so you can be taken by surprise here.
Isn't there some kind of weirdness with 1.0's bomb system?
Apparently it gives you full refill for all the items, so you can have like hundreds of bombs or something.
Oh my gosh. So you could basically just bomb your way through, and then if you have no bombs, if you get a bomb icon, it'll refill the whole stock.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
The-
crazy.
2-2 boss is really mean. Feels like one of the hardest bosses in the entire game for some reason. Usually people have all these crazy hyper bomb patterns, just so you don't have to dodge anything it does. There's lots of lag again.
Yeah. I know Daring's kind of in an area that struggles with like good internet, so I mean it is what
Yeah,
it
I
is, I
understand.
suppose.
But it seems like he just bumped a bunch of times and picked up the item, and now he's back at full. So yeah, you can just cheese it kinda easily in this version. Charlene is actually going for some scoring thing here.
Yeah.
You can get lots of hits from those. The tanks start firing those lasers in the second loop, and
Right.
if you do it right, you can get lots of hits.
Not
Basically
just
every
in the
time when you have
second loop,
enemies.
I'm curious to see. So what normally changes in Emote, just in a standard 1.5?
You're locked to the mid-boss route. You either have the new mid bosses are the Dodonpachi mid bosses in the Euro loop. Now in Omote you always have these guys.
Right.
And yeah, then the popcorn enemies, the helicopters should fire only one-way shots, but apparently they fire three-way shots in 1.0. So that's that difference gone. And yeah, the hyper rank is a bit different. In Euro loop you always basically stay at full rank.
Ah. What about the bullet speeds? Are they affected at all?
There is some difference, I believe.
Yeah.
And like some enemies just fire a little bit more. It's not so big, but I guess it's pretty much the same in Ketsui.
Right. Yeah, I can already tell looking at Charlene's screen there that the bullet patterns are starting to thicken up.
Yeah, there's still some amount of bullets, though it's noise. Okay, this stage 3 mid boss in the loop is also kinda scary.
Right. So,
But he,
looking at his score, I've just realized looking at his score, is he on pace for a counter stop?
he almost counter stopped. I think he's like 60 billion or 6 billion, I don't know numbers.
Yeah, so many zeros, man. So many zeros.
But 6 of something.
6
so-
of some kind.
Yes, but getting score from this second loop stages is going to be quite difficult. So unless he has something planned for 2-4, 2-5, then he's going to have tough time.
I just think it always sounds so impressive when you counter stop a shmup, you know.
Yeah. I don't know how long it really took for people to do it in the arcades, but I believe it was only something like few days.
Must have
Because
been,
people
right?
in
'Cause
arcades are crazy.
didn't they just pull the game out super fast and replace it with 1.5?
Yeah, you cannot really find the 1.0 anywhere. I think some collectors have it, but that's it.
At least somebody dumped it to MAME. I mean, no,
Yeah, apparently.
it's not a campaign version situation. Yeah, those bullet patterns are getting crazy.
Yeah, I love these huge walls that just come down there.
Yeah. Charlene's making it to stage 1. Is this stage 2-1? Correct?
Yeah,
2-2.
to do.
Okay, yeah. I
to boss.
always confuse them because they just seem so similar to me.
Yeah, what I appreciate about this game is how short the stages 2-1 and 2-2 are.
Yeah,
You-
they kind
oh.
of get them over with.
Yes.
Yeah, the bullet speeds are starting to pick up for sure.
Okay,
So
yeah,
2-4.
the
Let's see if he's
laser
got any
tower is
scoring tricks
coming
in here.
up. Tower is basically what you have to use there if you want some score, but it's hard.
You know the part in 2-4 where it's at the end and you just hit all those satellites and get all the stars and all that? Is that really that lucrative, or does it just look really nice?
It's basically every time when you have enemies that shoot lasers, then you can somehow abuse them.
Okay.
Usually if you block enemy lasers with your hyper laser, that just gives you lots of hits really quickly. So that's usually what you want to look for when you really go for high scores, because that gives you hits much faster than just shooting the enemy bullets.
Man, like, I wonder why they decided to make the numbers so massive in DFK.
They always... In every Dodonpachi they just bring new digits there, so
Yeah.
they just have to do it.
Is SDOJs even bigger?
It might be. At least now when you have the weird score bug, I think it must be bigger.
Right, yeah.
Without the bug, it wouldn't be nearly as big, but I think it's either the same scale or bigger.
Yeah, Daring's score is still kind of needing 5 more of whatever that number is to hit the counter stop.
Yeah, and this game you do not really get any score if you just do things, you just need to prepare for it. You need a bit of multiplier and some high value enemies and then you start getting the score.
So I'm assuming in a stage, if you drop your chain mid-stage, that's just a complete score annihilation there then for the stage, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much. In stage 5 you can still get something because it's so long, but for like stage 4 I don't even have any backup routes, I just give up if I die there and just accept that I'm not getting any score.
Yeah, I could definitely understand. That happens in Dodonpachi sometimes as well. It's just reset time.
Here in this game you would need some different routes because you want to hyper something to get the hits back, and it's not something I've ever prepared for.
Bombing the boss.
Yeah, this boss, when you just do this thing that you let one of the rockets drop, then you can just sit up there for quite a long time and get lots of free damage.
So it doesn't sound like bombing bosses is really all that punishing.
Basically not.
Because
you can keep the chain in the bosses too if you have it.
That's right.
But if you don't, then it doesn't really matter what you do, really.
What do you think about that? Do you like that, or do you think it's, I mean, compared to, you know, DOJ and DDP where you can't?
I guess I don't really mind it because it makes the game quite a bit more relaxing to play. Like, the bosses are mostly just a break that you just defeat them and it doesn't really matter if you fail it or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course it's kinda cooler when you think of the Dodonpachi or Daiojo where you just aim for the perfection of the whole thing, but that's stressing also.
Yes, extremely stressful.
Okay, 2-5, let's see if he's still trying to get score. Don't think he needs much.
So I'm assuming, does Amote have any sort of second final boss type thing? Not necessarily a TLB, but an additional boss of some kind?
Well, there is a boss. I don't know how true it is, but it is a boss. You normally have 2 of these bosses, like in the Dodonpachi you have the huge beating and then finally Hibachi. So
yes.
In Omoto you only fight the huge beating. Hibachi is only for Euro.
That makes sense.
This mid boss is really mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've actually been myself playing the Omoto loop just for fun, so I have to learn kinda new routes for 2-5 because it's so different from 2-5 Euro.
What's the difference? What's the big difference?
Well, the mid bosses are so different. Like the Euro mid boss in 2-5, you can just you don't actually have to do anything. You just hyper and go up the face, and it dies before it has time to do anything. But this guy is quite a bit harder.
So they're both looking pretty healthy resource-wise.
Yeah, I think
how does the extend situation work in the second loop? Is there no scoring extends at all?
Well, there are just two score extends, but Spino got them long time ago, and
yeah.
I believe Charlene also.
So he's gotta just make it through now on the resources he has.
Let's see how much bombs is he going to use. This part is quite nasty. Yeah. Well, this was lots of flags, so I think he made it.
Yeah. Well, he's still got 2 lives, and I think he used a bomb.
Yeah, he's just a couple of bombs.
I kind of want to see him use more bombs so we can see that glitch where if he gets a bomb, it just refills them all.
I don't know, it's probably just intended. I got hit by laser.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah,
So,
this downward spot in second loop, it's probably one of the hardest parts in the game.
absolutely. So here's the section I was talking about, Charlene's on it, where you kill those spinning towers and you just get all those gold stars.
Yeah. The stars aren't really that big of score thing, but
Right.
they are bigger. They are bigger score thing than they are in the Dodonpachi.
Right, where they're basically just worthless.
Yeah, the ground stars are still worthless, but the air stars somehow get their value from the chain or something, so they actually are worth something.
Oh, interesting.
Spino is at 1 extra life, but that's the hardest part done, so
Yeah, Spino's closing in now.
yeah. Yeah, that was a mid-push, I think.
Charlene's looking good. Three extends now.
Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, this last part is still full of hard things in 2-5.
It's pretty crazy how long of a stage 2-5 or just stage 5 is in general. Like, there's many times where I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, we're done, and it just has a whole nother section behind there.
Yeah, I think it's almost half of the length of the loop is in stage 5, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a really amazing stage because it's not like, doesn't feel like you're just doing the same thing because there are so many different sections that are completely different.
Yeah, it definitely feels multi-layered in a way.
Yeah.
Where one section you're going through those satellites and it almost feels kind of like an old school 2D shmup or like an old school horizontal shmup in some ways, and then the next section you're fighting a bunch of oncoming Zako and everything, so it's got a lot of variety, that's for sure.
Yeah, the laser part is quite R-type. There's just lots of moving things that you need to memorize.
Yeah.
He lost the chain again, so I don't think he can counter stuff.
Yeah. Came very close though.
Now this cannon, it's so difficult in the second loop. In the Euro I always just hyper it because it's way too hard to do without.
Right.
Yeah, there's this last popcorn part, but he doesn't really have any chain, so I don't think there's any score coming up. It's too bad.
Yeah. Very close. Here we go though. So he's gonna take out this boss, and then there's likely gonna be another one.
Yeah, he can just bomb a punch because you have the item there.
Right, there it is.
And now you get 6 bombs, yeah.
It always feels kind of satisfying to figure out a use for a bomb in like Dodonpachi games.
Yeah, actually, you can bomb a lot of the bosses there, and one way to play the second loop normally is just to use lots of bombs at the bosses to lower the rank, so you can get these really low rank hypers in the beginning of stage. That's like the easier scoring way.
Right. Here's that mid-boss again, so let's see how it acts in this mode.
It's like lots of those fixed things that come down and then it does this really fast. Well, not so fast in Novice, but quite fast anyway, these aim bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the general's got something to say.
He's coming. Okay, there he is. This guy has so much HP.
Yeah, he's...
Oh, wait, wait, why is he dying so quickly? I think this is also 1.0 thing.
Yeah, he's just
Okay, I
point
take it
blank
back, he doesn't have much HP. He's almost dead. What is this?
Just It looked like he just stood on him, point blanked him, and bombed him, and he's dead.
Okay, yeah, that's silly. I didn't expect that. Like, in normal game 1.5, this guy has so much HP, you just need to point blank with hypers and do everything you can to just barely kill it. Before
Just
it gets...
watching 1.0, I kind of get the feeling that they were trying to make the game easier. Maybe after DOJ, they're thinking, okay, no one wants to play our games because they're too hard. But they kind of went a little overboard with some of the stuff, like the bomb refill and everything like that.
Yeah, perhaps. In 1.5 they gave the auto bomb instead.
Yeah, right.
I guess it still makes it one of the easiest games to clear. At least if you look at 2-loop games, it's probably the easiest 2-loop game ever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter in serious play because, like, if you get the auto bomb hit, it's basically the same as death. You lose all the chain and everything, so that's
Right.
it.
Kind of an interesting balance there.
Yeah, then you also have the power style, which doesn't even have bombs. Yeah, Charlene's hit the hard part now.
Yep. So this is the part that I always think it's like right before the boss, but there's actually a whole extra section behind this part.
Yeah, and they also changed the music for the mid-boss, so you can feel like this is the end. But
Yeah.
then it is.
Yeah, they mess with you. Yeah, these things are always brutal.
Yeah.
Nice dodges there.
This part is really nice, you just need to know the moment and then you can go through all the bits.
Yeah. I think she's got it. There.
Should be fine. This exit part can be difficult.
Yeah.
Because you see the lasers start firing bullets back at you.
Yeah, can that laser hit you from the back? I kind of saw it as it swapped out there.
Yeah, if you use your own laser, you're invulnerable against the lasers. But in the second loop, they start firing when you block them, they fire bullets back at you.
Ugh. Nicely done. Well, Daring came very close to the counter stop and made it through. Nicely played.
Yeah, definitely.
That was funny how the final boss, he just had to point blank it and bomb it.
Yeah, it's surprising me. Because I knew there were some silly things about the last bosses, but I didn't know it was quite that weird. And Charlene's got the last digit in the score. But there is one more that some really crazy people can get, but I think it's power style only.
Oh, wow. So is power style, because of the hypering and everything, overall the most lucrative?
Basically, yeah, but you can get really close with strong. There are a couple of things that strong cannot do, which probably makes it lose overall. And in real high level you can also do this really silly boss milking, which basically same thing as in S-Braid.
Right, oh
You
wow.
can just do all this really long milks. Usually not in the second loop, but there's this really crazy milking pattern for the last phase of the 2-5 boss that I think only one person in the world does or something.
Is Death Cave really... It doesn't seem nearly as popular as the other Dodonpachi games for being played for score.
Yeah, for sure, and I think one reason is that 1.5 actually isn't that common. When I've been at arcades, you usually see Black Label a lot, but 1.5 is quite rare.
Oh,
So I think
that's
that even
really
that naturally makes it less played.
I wonder why
But,
that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just sold more Black Label or something. It's not like Daifukkatsu, where you have both games on the same board, they're completely different.
Yeah. They play very differently as well.
Yeah, it's basically an entirely different game. I think it's really cool because with the other Black Labels, at least Daifukkatsu, it's almost the same basic thing. Of course it's very different in some ways, but the basic game is the same. But here it's like everything is different. You play every part of the game entirely differently, so it's kind of cool.
Charlene's coming into the final boss of the 5th stage. Then
Yeah,
she'll
this
probably
is
have
really-
the TLB.
Yeah, she should. Yeah, these attacks look really quite nasty here in Novice.
Yeah. I always struggle with this one right here, the grenades.
Yeah, this part is quite hard. But you can do some really nice hyper tricks there, because when you hit all those grenades with the hyper laser, you get some charge back, so you can do these tricks where you get all the charge back instantly, so you can keep chaining the hyper.
Oh, nice. I love that.
That's basically what you need to do here, because a lot of those attacks you don't really want to try dodging normally.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, this last phase doesn't have too much HP.
Whoa, nice dodge.
Yeah, sometimes you get these really weird things in Novice, because like the starting slow bullets get cancelled somehow, and then you only get the really fast bullets, so it surprises you. There's still, at least in the 360 version, there's lots of really amazing scores there in the scoreboard, though, so there definitely is some activity with this game.
Yes, yes.
It's nowhere near as popular as Daifukkatsu.
Okay, so now we can see the boss in the 1.5 version, which should have more HP.
Yeah, hopefully there's not something where it's also weird in Novice, but I think he should have much HP. I haven't seen this English text before.
Me neither. He seems more friendly in a way than in
Time for you to
Dodonpachi.
die.
Where he's just mad.
Okay, yeah, no, he has more like the HP. The purple button is really weird. Yeah, this is also a nice pattern, because it fires a huge amount of those grenades or orbs or satellites or whatever, but you can activate your hyper at the right moment. You can stand in the middle of all those when they come back, and they instantly give you the full charge. It's a nice trick.
Oh, similar to the grenades in the last fight then.
Yeah. In Black Label, when you get stock multiple hypers, you can get like 3 or 4 hypers from doing
Nice dodges there.
Oh, nice, nice. Oh, that's really nice. But yeah, you see the difference in HP. Still halfway there.
So, because in Hyper, if a bullet comes at you from the back like that, will it still hurt you? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
The C-type has some parts of the shot hitting behind you, but for the other ships you cannot do anything about it, you will die.
Nicely done.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, the lives left too.
Yeah, a comfortable clear for sure.
Yeah, nice, and the score isn't too bad either when you compare it to the high score.
Yeah, no,
I
she's
don't-
definitely routing that stuff out and well prepared.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks for jumping on and doing commentary with me.
Yeah, no problem. I like this game, so it's nice to talk with it.
Yeah, do you have any plans to continue playing it, or how are you feeling about that?
I actually started playing it again a couple of months ago. I've been practicing the power style again, which I played like lots and lots of years ago.
You know, I've been studying your CS run. I'm coming after it in Dodonpachi.
Nice.
Yeah, but what an amazing 2-all, man. Because
Well,
that
thanks.
hibachi fight looks brutal with CS, because it just goes on and on and on.
I kind of like the speed of CS there, but for definitely it takes way too long to kill it.
It does.
So I did so many runs with just getting the hibachi with a couple of lives, but never clearing because it's just too hard.
Yeah, I barely got the CL clear, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get the CS clear anytime soon, or because it just, because I do know that fight really well, and so when I was practicing it with CS, you just have to basically do 1.5 more of the patterns, because it just you don't hurt it fast enough.
Yeah, the first phase can get really desperate if you use lots of bombs, then you just keep getting these really hard attacks again and again. And
Yeah, and then the point blank isn't that strong either compared to with the laser types. If you get that point blank for the final with the laser types, you can really put in some damage, but even if you get it with the CS, it doesn't seem that strong, to be honest.
yeah, never even bothered doing the point blank because it doesn't seem worth the risk. Maybe if I can do it consistently, then why not? But otherwise,
Yeah, the trick is you can set it up with a bomb, and the health with CL. What I did is I set it up with a bomb, and then you drop his health in between phases, and it kind of extends that point blank window, and so you can get some pretty juicy ones. But yeah, it's not nearly as good with CS, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
I kind of like the
anyway.
speed for the final, though.
Yeah. Well, anyway, man, thanks so much for hopping on. I think up next is Dingo playing Refrain, and then we got the glitch reveal, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, I think I might go to bed though because it's way too late here. But I'll check it out tomorrow.
Nice. Awesome. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Okay, yes, thanks and bye.
All right, everyone, we're going to set up real quick for Dingo's Refrain run.